Okay, we're back in the recording section here. I entertain a motion for the adjustment of Administrator Rodden's salary.
No, you didn't come back and say,
No, we don't understand that.
I would move for a cost of living raise, it's 1.9.
Okay. It's been moved by Councilman Richard that we approve a 1.9% cost of living increase for Administrator Rodden. It was seconded by Councilman Latrell. Is there any further discussion? No further discussion. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
So moved.
Okay, next item on the agenda is adjournment. It's been moved by Councilman Brown that we adjourn. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Richard. Any further discussion? No further discussion. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. We can adjourn, and we'll go right to the work session. Go roll. Do we have a score update on the?
Yeah, it is 3-0. We're in the bottom of the second.
Oh, Bob, it's early.
San Francisco's 3, Roseville.
What's that?
Which part of?
Giants 3.
Oh, right. We're going to talk about the street project.
Yeah, sweet projects. Okay.
All of the third.
Yeah.
Okay, I put together a couple of cost estimates as requested following our last work session. I guess the one thing that I would say is I knew I made a mistake when I said it, but I said that I was asked, what are the streets up in the North Campus going to cost? And when we were talking about that, we were specifically talking about 21st, or I think it's called Silver Fox Lane, and 22nd Street over to Silver Fox Drive, and then north up to Rosebud. And I threw out $500,000, and you can see by my cost estimate that I'm off on that, but I was thinking a much smaller project at that point in our discussion. So you can see what the cost estimate is, and the portion of streets that is shown on the map is consistent with what Administrator Rodden, Click, and myself talked about as basically a good starting point or stopping point, whichever way you want to look at it, for the city on the western loop of Silver Fox Estates. So I entertain any questions you have about the cost estimate or map.
Do you have any idea what's going to be done first to last?
We really haven't talked about that, but we could phase it however the city wants to meet the needs of. I would certainly think that we would phase the entrance off of Highway 24 to be one of the first things, and then go down Silver Fox Drive, I would assume.
Then I have, if we're going to do that, if that's one of the first projects, is that Rosebud. That park entrance needs to be done as soon as I go past, or at the same time.
Okay, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
On Rosebud, that's the north, where the new entrance is.
Right.
Off of Highway 4. Yeah, we're gonna do one of the first part of the projects is up there. As soon as that goes in there, I'm guessing we'll have to open that. And I think the park entrance should be put in at the same time, or real close to it.
Yeah, because we need to.
We got
Well, and we also have the
dollar store
Dollar
coming in.
General store
Yeah.
going to be. You know where their entrance is going to be, Stuart?
No, I haven't seen a site plan.
They talked about in the ready committee, it's gonna be adjacent to the park entrance, I think.
So it'd be on the east. Just a quick question, neither here nor there. Why do we go from 20th Street to Silver Fox Lane and then to 22nd? Why, how come we're not at 21st Street?
I don't know the answer to that. It was.
I don't think they completely match up with the
Does
cross.
Silver Fox Lane
It's-
curve and come down here.
It does. It does. It ties back around to Silver Fox Drive, but I don't know.
Well,
And I would have to go back and check to make sure that that is in fact the way it was platted. But that's the way it showed up on the drawing. I was looking more at providing you a visual of the paving areas with the map, but
well, this is good.
Yeah.
And then are you still doing, I understood you never had total clearance to do East Main. Are you in the process of?
You also have a cost estimate, an updated cost estimate for that. And I guess what I was told is to come kind of prepared to discuss it and see if that's a project that the city wants to move forward with.
Well, I think, I heard about that, and we did. We've been telling people for 3 years we're gonna do that, so I think.
Longer than that. It's been going
I
on
think,
20
well, I
years.
mean, but recently here, that we are gonna get it done, so I think we need to, I'd like to see us do the whole thing. I don't know.
I would like to
That's what I was-
move both projects forward, is what I'd like to see, and look at the financing of it. I think Glenn has the numbers, and I think I visited briefly with you, Stuart, and you thought, down the road that these might be two different projects for two different contractors.
Absolutely.
You want
I've-
to talk to the council about
Well,
that?
I really think that they are two different projects, or likely two different contractors. I think there is merit in having them bid in the same general timeframe, so that if we get an out-of-town contractor in town and started, that we could at least convince him to bid the second one. Likely, they would not go out to bid at the same time. The North Campus project, we can have ready in relatively near future. Couple months, 2 or 3 months, something like that, we can be ready to go. The East Main Street project, it's several months out. And I'd have
So do you
to,
think we could have this North Campus project ready to go by spring?
yes,
But you don't think East Main would be,
no.
Completed maybe before the East Main project could start.
It's conceivable that the completion of the North Campus and the beginning of East Main could be in that same time frame, but East Main, it will take 6 or 8 months to put together. There's a lot of things to figure out there.
Well, I thought we asked about this over a year ago, and we were supposed to have X amount of time when we could do East Main. Am I correct?
Well, you mean how much time it would take to design it?
I mean, the whole thing, on what it was gonna cost us and everything. I know we asked this last year.
Yeah.
And everybody said just keep putting off till 2014. Well, 2014 is coming and going, and now all of a sudden we're jumping up here on the North Campus.
Well, that's the direction that he's been given. That's what
Yeah.
he's-
Not by me, but I'm just saying.
so you're saying you never had a firm go-ahead? on
No,
East
we
Main?
didn't, we didn't have a go-ahead, and we also weren't asked to provide a contract to the city.
No, I know you weren't asked, but you just asked to check in all these costs 6, 8 months ago on this.
Well, he had that.
Well, I provided.
Now,
a
I
cost
have it
estimate.
now, I have it now.
No, I provided a cost estimate a year ago.
That's what I can't remember.
Yeah, we just didn't act on it.
Here, I can tell you.
We were told at the planning session, we were gonna wait a year to build up the CIP fund,
Yeah,
and that, then we're gonna start in 2015, I thought.
yeah, we was gonna try to get
But
it.
you're basically saying you don't think we can put this together and get East Main going next year?
Well, I'm not gonna say we can't get it going next year, but it won't be going by springtime next year.
Is it a project that could get done next year in the construction
Probably not.
timeframe?
I would say that's pushing it. And I think that, depending on what is uncovered during the design process, you know, how, what that project ends up looking like, and we'll be looking for city input on that, because that's the major east-west entrance into the city. When we get close to the end of the design process, I think that we would need to have a good, well-thought-out discussion with the city as to when we let that project, because I don't think the city will tolerate a winter shutdown on that portion of the street. It needs to be, get in there and get it done as quickly as we possibly can.
So
if
we're
we-
gonna
if we-
have to decide detours and everything else.
Correct.
So, but if we start working on it now, we could really have it ready to go for 16.
Oh, absolutely.
You could, I mean, you have to think, you could have easements, you could have all kinds of stuff that you've gotta work on, it's not just.
And I anticipate, the potential for some right-of-way things that we have to deal with up where the double curves are. We don't know yet what the right-of-way looks like in there, and the road doesn't appear to fit, what I would envision to be the right-of-way, and there may be a little bit of right-of-way that needs to be dealt with in that area.
And straighten things out. Well, I think that, you know, we need to proceed with that,
Yeah.
come up with how we're gonna fund it, get them on the burner for
Yeah.
16, and definitely get the North Campus finished up on, in 15. And,
So could we approve their go-ahead on this whole thing at the next meeting, or get the?
for the contracts and stuff,
Yeah.
for the engineering
Yeah,
fees.
yeah.
you
Well,
probably
that,
have
we're gonna
some-
need, well, we're gonna need financially, how we're
How
gonna.
we're gonna pay for it.
Well,
That's me, I'm not saying Main Street's a bad thing, but it is a paved road already. We're getting by. And we got this North Campus business, I don't know that we need to be putting in all them streets at once. And I'm looking at a water plant solution here. I don't know that I agree with some of the priorities on here on the streets. I think we could,
I definitely don't agree with them either.
The water, I can tell you right now, the water plant thing will be a whole different issue, because the funding for that comes out of the utility itself, it doesn't come out of tax money at all, so that's a whole different.
Sure enough, but we're gonna have to go to the bank to borrow some money to get her, ain't we?
Well, that's what
He left.
we got in here. Glenn's.
I mean,
I'm.
Yeah, you
in
really
favor
want
of
to
proceeding
we got that in the
as
check,
far
but
as
just
we
to
can.
write it out and go for it.
Get everything.
I mean,
so
I
we
think
can-
we've gotta get this North Campus thing going. I mean,
Yeah.
so we can get the streets laid out. You know, as an ex-contractor, how important that is to get housing developed. And,
You get a street in there, you'll be surprised people be looking at lots.
yeah.
Well, I think it does give them the visual, you can get the visual of what it actually is gonna look like when the
That's
streets
even,
are
I've
done.
even heard that from out of town.
Well, you know, it's, this North Campus, we're already selling a lot for 80,000, so, you know, we're gonna have money come in. That's an investment, that's not a big expense, so I think we need to do whatever we can to get this whole thing rolling.
Keep going on the North Campus, get the county, so what we know what we're looking at for East Main.
Right.
You know, because if we don't do it, we don't have any idea what it's gonna cost. Because we're just gonna, well, it's gonna cost this, it's gonna cost that. We don't know what the easements are gonna be, we'll have to, and they get all this laid out, then we're gonna know what our costs are gonna be. But we've gotta start this before we can start a project to see what we even need to do to fund it. So I think we need to move ahead with both.
I'm.
With
I
what we,
agree.
so if you can bring that information to us the next.
Okay, so you want an agreement for the East Main project,
Yeah.
okay?
Officially, we can't decide on that.
No,
Yeah.
but you want me to bring you an
The
agreement,
proposal, yeah.
okay? I will say that on the North Campus streets, I went back and looked at our agreement that we had to design the North Campus streets, and we still have time in, or we have budget remaining that we can finish out the design and get this thing out to bid contractors without any additional expense to the city.
Yeah.
So we will plan to do that. We have an agreement already in place to do that.
Okay, good. Well, let's finish it up so we know where we're at.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you think, Glenn?
Yeah, I think we need to look at both, and if you look at the debt schedules, I know it's confusing, and I got Piper Jaffray to do this last week or whatever it is. The key things here is he offered both projects separately, if you look at that, North Campus and East Main, 3 different ways, 10-year bonds, 15 and 20 years, and you kind of laid that out as what your debt schedules would be on that. Just knowing what we know today, all the chaos in the world has driven down the stocks and the bonds simultaneously. Everybody's worried about war, diseases, and whatever, so prices have dropped. What really comes down to is the interest rate is about 3.25% right now, if you go either one of those scenarios we're talking about. So the money is relatively cheap at this point compared to, I would say, average prices. So you aren't gonna get hit too much on that. What we propose to pay back, of course, would be, you could use your sales tax money that goes into your CIP. We're gonna sell land at the North Campus, and then increase property taxes for that would help certainly pay for what you're doing at North Campus.
Where we could get that.
Yeah, East Main, East Main's a different story, and I think that's why we kind of hesitated in the past about doing that, is because there is no other source other than sales tax to pay for that, because you don't have increased property tax, there's not any business coming there, there's no other we're not selling property there, of course, so there's no other revenue stream you can funnel into the paying off that account. So that's a little harder to pay back, but, so he broke that out separately. You can do them together if you wanted to, but I appreciate the fact he drew these out here separately so you can see the impact. So we want to look at that, and so at the next meeting, I don't think interest rates are going to change in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But you want to look, see how we pay that back over, you want to do 10, 15, or 20 years on that. So that'd be the way to do it, but you get all of what you want, North Campus and East Main, or roughly $3 million.
Well, I think they're both very viable projects, and we gotta keep moving forward.
Plus, we need to give Click some time to catch up with his maintenance.
He has a full plate. Thank you, Stuart.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Stuart.
it.
We're not gonna contract anything out on that for the Silver Fox edition.
I thought, the last time we kind of talked about contracting and finishing it all up. What we don't get done this fall, didn't we talk?
Well, what you're showing here actually does have partial, as I remember, the way you laid that out. Where we would stop, they would finish as far as the contract would get.
We would finish up what we.
Yeah, whatever we don't do this year, if I understood your map and
That's-
diagram correctly, that would be.
That's correct. And what I guess what we discussed was, in the event that we have a relatively mild fall, we believe that Click's crew will continue on around the western side of Silver, what's it?
Lane.
Silver
That's
Fox
Lane,
Lane, and then pick up there in the spring, and they will continue on to the north and east until they tie into the intersection where our the contract work will take off.
So
And on the
just
straight.
to clarify, your estimate does not include the curve.
That's correct.
Finishing any of that.
It's only the portions that are hatched.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
That's
And the other part, the straight part from the south end will end at 20th Street.
Yes, you're already have curb up to there, don't
We
you?
have curve
Yeah.
up to the south intersection of 20, yeah.
Okay.
well, what you got poured right now in curb, what, you gonna take that up there and stop there and then go,
Then we're gonna go up to where the curb is, and then we're gonna go back down to Silver Fox Lane and go across west and north where Cooper's gonna be building houses. We need to get over there that way.
Do you have a cross street in there, Click, going on where you're going west?
No,
So it's just straight out?
it's just straight out, and comes back around, and abuts where Stewart's got this contract on 22nd. No, the
Yeah.
21st,
Yeah.
Silver Fox Lane,
Yep.
whatever you want.
Okay. Is that it this evening?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else.
Is that, we're good?
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. What's yours? Go roll. What's the score?
Still 3-0, and that's gonna be a tough start. She'll be there. And I'm playoffs.
Thanks for not being long-winded. Yes. Kent,
I don't
Calculating how long we gotta get this coming off the highway.
Calculation should be $5 because that's what's happening.
When we got the dollars for it, I get it.
But that $9 and whatever, that kind of was weird.
Yeah, I'll talk about that. I have no idea what that is. I've never read it. Because it can't be cost of living, because I don't get that. Right. You know, well, see, I didn't realize it, so Tom asked me that a month ago or whatever, and I thought, you know, I don't think so, but I don't know. This has never been. Right, I don't think anybody ever has, so, whatever, so I could, you know.
And I would still want to see.
We don't have a sign.
We don't really just start on that.
So I don't know what that is.
He had to pay for his.
Well, what's it gonna be?
Thanks, Bob.
If it's like
Enjoyed the visit.
$40, there's no sense. I would maybe shove it to 60. Then that'll look That's something I can think
You're
of.
buying.
I'm buying, yeah. All right, cool. Appreciate it.
Well,
So
I tell you
there
what, do we know how to spend money?
we do. We know how to do it.
As long as you keep figuring out how to bring it in.
So far, so good.
80,000 already, that's.
He can drive and. they don't
Yeah, and you know,
have either.
I figured somebody would come along and.
Let me ask you, on this,
Yeah, you know, he says the gas company won't put any gas lines down the streets.
if we just send that letter, they can't do that.
I think it's still pretty good. I think, they, you know, as long as they have zoning, and we've got the questions on the attorneys, because I don't think it's ever been tried before. in the
Because,
state.
you know, he would just ruin it.
Does that preempt this? The way the state statute reads is, I think it does.
Yeah.
Because it just says, if they pass a zoning ordinance, they may establish a planning commission. They may establish planning and zoning, it doesn't say they have to. So it says they may. So what they're saying, if I understand what Noah and those guys are doing, is we'll just pass a resolution that zones the town.